Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and today we're drinking something hoppy, and I think I know what this is. I think we're trying to figure out if we can get a certain flavor profile out of a certain hop variety. Not that I've talked to Mike about this, it's just my guess. Just my guess.
Yes.
So this is going to be an exploration into Amarillo hops, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's talk about it.
Let me tell you the tale. So
Woo!
I've been
Off the nose.
violently disappointed by the quality of Amarillo hops.
Quite the modifier. Violently disappointed. Okay.
Violently disappointed of
Continue.
Amarillo hops that we're getting from,
I don't want to be around when you're violently disappointed.
from our
in stuff.
standard supply sources. Let's just leave it at that. Amarillo is supposed to, Amarillo, if you want to be specific, it's supposed to deliver on like tangerine, orange, on top of that other like Cascade Centennial, like those C hops, right? But it's supposed to really be an orange. And I love orange flavor in beer. I love like orange wheat beer. That's one of my favorite things. So anyway, I was talking to a local brewer about who recently went from being a home brewer to being a pro brewer. And I asked that brewer, have you found, now being on the pro side, that the hops that you're getting are of a different quality than when you were getting them from a homebrew supply store? And I asked this brewer too, where were you getting your hops from a homebrew supply store, right? And so we sort of compared notes, and we both shopped at some similar places. Anyway, he gave me some advice.
Okay.
He felt that my theory was not probably real, like the difference in quality, because I don't think he wanted to hang anybody out to dry, which I respect that.
I see.
But what he did say to me, he gave me some tips about maybe you want to buy the hops from hop suppliers directly, and rather than buying 1 or 2 ounce packages, you should really focus on maybe 8 ounce or the 16 ounce packages, because usually those packages, even if you get them at your local homebrew store, those packages are usually still original packages from some of those suppliers, like Yakima Valley, things like that, right? So Hops Direct, things like that. So coming from farm into those size packages for the market. So anyway, I wanted to try that with Amarillo hops because I really want to experience
absolutely
Amarillo that I remember from years ago.
Aww.
So let me just give you the basic rundown of the recipe. The recipe is 92% pale malt, US 2-row, and it's 8% Munich Type 1 from Weirmann, which is about 7 Love. At 60 minutes, I hit this with just half an ounce, about 16 IBUs of Cascade.
Okay.
And then the rest of it, my friend. So then at 10 minutes to go, it's a full ounce of Amarillo. And this is for a 3.5 gallon batch, actually. So don't, you know. So a full ounce at 10 minutes, and then an ounce and a half at times 0, at 0. And then I got another ounce and a half at dry hop.
Okay.
They've been dry. It's been dry hopping now for 3 days.
Okay.
So it's super fresh dry hop.
This is the time.
I fermented it, then I cold crashed it, and then I transferred it to a new vessel with the cylinder of those dry hops. So it's off the yeast, so we don't have that issue. And the other thing I did with this guy, I fermented this with Mangrove Jack's Hophead Ale yeast, which is something new. I didn't realize when I bought it that it's actually a blend of a ester-forward yeast strain and enzymes to help promote aromatics, so pectinase and beta-glucosidase.
Hey, how about you?
If you're so inclined to understand the biochemistry.
Breaking it down.
Like some of us.
Like an enzyme.
So the original gravity of this beer was 1046. It finished at about 1010. So that's about almost 5% alcohol. Perfect size for a drinker. Calcium 87 ppm, magnesium 5, sodium 20, sulfate 139, chloride 100 for about a 1.4 sulfate to chloride ratio. There you go. I also mashed this at 140 for about 90 minutes, and then I ramped it up to for 60 minutes and ramped it up to 154 for another 20 minutes. I'm just going for super fermentability, and then do my normal mash out at 168.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, while you were sending images of you being violently disappointed, that's when the aroma hit me, and certainly that is quite enticing. Not sure if I'm getting Getting certainly a strong citrus note.
Yep.
Not sure if it's orange specific,
Yeah.
but it's certainly like, it's pleasant. It makes you want to take that sip. You know what
Yeah.
you're getting into, and you're like excited to get there, right?
Yep.
On the flavor, a lot of orange rind, and then in the aftertaste, and maybe I'm just dreaming of it, but sort of a creamy creamsicle thing going on too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just, again,
Yeah.
I'm trying to like break the idea of what it may be and the actual reality of perception.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. It's hard to set this one up without letting the cat out.
Yeah,
of the
like,
bag,
and you're
right?
like, oh my God, well, I got to look for the orange, and you
yeah.
find it. But I really was trying to just separate what I was looking for with what was actually there.
Yep.
And yeah, I think this hits it. Now, the big question for me, and so I don't know if I don't have any more notes. I think this is a pleasant, well-constructed, hop-forward pale ale. I think this is great.
Yep.
Where did you source the Amarillo? Where?
Yakima Valley.
Yakima Valley.
Yep.
And you got an 8-ounce package?
8-ounce package.
Okay,
Yep.
just making sure I got that clear. I don't know if I caught that.
Yep.
But anyway, yes, I think we've discussed this on the show, that getting hops from those suppliers
Yeah.
is a much better experience than
Yeah,
what
because
we're
the reality in your local homebrew shop is a lot of the times you're getting a small Mylar bag of some sort that is likely been repackaged from a larger bag in order just to make the economics work for the homebrew shop, which is fine as long as the shop has a high turnover, right? So if you're going to buy like Cascade or Centennial or just like Citra, things like that, those things probably do have a lot of turnover. And Amarillo's probably drifted into the category of, it's not low turnover, but it's not high turnover. So if they are repackaging, some of the stores that we shop at, they come in those little 1-ounce Mylar packages, but they're not vacuum sealed. So the question is, have they been at least like nitrogen or argon flushed before they get sealed? I don't know. Probably not, but who knows? So the quality of the hops might be degrading when they're in those 1-ounce packages. The point is too, is that when they did get packaged, whether it was in like a 10-pound bag or an 8-ounce bag, every time you open a bag of hops to weigh them out for yourself or manipulate them, you're exposing the oxygen. So it's a cumulative effect over time, right? So I'm pretty happy with this. It's not screaming at me orange, but then again, when Amarillo first came out, like 15 years ago, it's an agricultural product. This was a 2022, I think, if I remember right on the sticker. Maybe this one just didn't perform. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And the other thing that I still stand by too is, if people really want orangey Amarillo hops, not people, but brewers, you got to remember too that some of the big brewers that rely on this hop for some pretty big brand name beers, they're contracting and going there and doing rubbings, and because they don't harvest it all and process it into pellets all in one day. It takes several days, and so they create different lots, and different parts of the field become different lots. So they go, wow, this has got amazing orange. We want 2 metric tons of this, right? And the homebrew market gets what's left. That just is the way it is.
True that.
I don't have any real direct evidence for that, but it seems through my reading, whatever, that
makes sense to me.
That makes some sense. So I think you don't see that effect in things like Cascade, whatever, because there's just so much of it available, right? That there's still good stuff trickling down to the market.
True that.
Centennial is supposed to be, talked about a super Cascade, which is going to be a lot of grapefruit, but should drive a lot of orange flavor, like Bell's Two-Hearted Pale Ale, which is really like an IPA, does have a lot of that orange juice type character to it. And that's coming from Centennial, but that's because they have a very specific breed and lot of Centennial that they have grown for them to make that happen. So
the second question I had, I was going to ask you the year in the lot that you had. It was 2022, knowing that we're capturing this 2023, that was last year, but just for your information, 2022. What's your thoughts on the yeast that you use with the enzymes and
who
all
knows?
of that?
Maybe that is rescuing what little, because it's faint. I get it's almost like an artificial orange flavor, like orange, those little sugary orange slices.
Yeah.
You know those things,
Yeah.
right?
Candy.
That's what, and it's pleasant. I like
I
it,
know,
but it's
yeah.
not like orange juice.
No.
So it very well could be too that in this application there is a little bit of phyalization happening from the enzymes, releasing whatever. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. It worked out in this application.
I
for
like
me,
it,
so
man.
It's definitely drinkable.
I don't think this is a disappointment in any sort. Are you?
Yep.
Are you saying that you're really hoping to get like an orange juice profile?
Yeah, not necessarily orange juice, just more like orange flavor,
Fruit.
orange, big orange punch in the nose.
Yeah.
For having an ounce and a half in a 3.5 gallon batch, right? An ounce and a half at flame out and an ounce and a half dry hop, and having been dry hopped for 3 days, right? This is as fresh as it's going to be.
This is it.
This is it. So it's good. It's just not the punch I was looking for. So I'm not violently disappointed, but
I'm glad because
it's
I'm here and I don't need to witness that. But all right, well, all right. It's good to hear your notes. That's good.
I think buying hops in a larger format, I will probably do that from now on.
Yeah.
Plan several beers where I could use 8 ounces of hops.
Right.
I also have a vacuum sealer, so when I do stuff like this, I can take 3 ounces out of an 8 ounce bag and vacuum seal the rest of the bag.
Got it. Yeah. And I do too. I mean, I use it for my own hop harvesting, which of course we gotta do some brewing with those because they're taking up space in my freezer. But yeah, that's a good idea. So that might be a takeaway from this video. Buy hops in large quantities and then invest in a way to you'll be able to use what you need for the brew in front of you and then vacuum seal the rest for hopefully a date that's not in the far future, but in the near future to brew another beer. So
Keep
plan
them in the
accordingly.
Keep them in the freezer.
Keep them in the freezer.
Mine are in the freezer.
That's right. All right. Well, I still think this is an orange success. Aren't you glad it's not as crappy as you thought it was going to be? Aren't you glad that he's not that disappointed? All right. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We try to do this kind of thing every single week. For John and Mike from the blog brew-dudes.com, brew on.
Cheers.